Now, folks, a short time ago, we received the absolutely heartbreaking news that one of the stars of the Call of Duty League, Maurice Enriquez Fero, had passed away. Before the break, we want to take a moment to look back at Fero's career and what made him someone we will sincerely miss.
Watching you go, watching you walk through the door.
Fero keeps on rolling.
Fero, again, is just shredding people at the moment.
He's absolutely fighting with everything he's got.
He can kind of do it all.
I thought of him as a little brother, like family, and it's just still mind-blowing to me that he was able to come into the scene at 18 years old. He truly was a generational talent, and he would have changed the game and been a legend by the time he stopped competing. One of my best friends, my little brother, all around like good person, always went out of his way to help us, help me, help anyone he needed, and just a great all-around person. I can't state that enough.
My biggest memory of Fero was right after the Paris Legion home series, which the Mutineers won. He absolutely slaughtered FaZe in the Hackney Dome. Like, it was an incredible performance. Like, it was unforgettable, you know. And right after the match finished, I turned my stream on. I wanted to debrief with fans. I wanted to talk through the games. It was a cool opportunity to do that. And as soon as it started up, like, Fero was in the chat from like the first 10 minutes, and he stayed there the whole time. Like, he talked with fans all night. He engaged with them massively. He was answering their questions. Like, he was so friendly and so nice to so many people. Right after winning a tournament, he could have gone off and celebrated in his own way, but instead he gave back and he hung out with fans. And I just thought that was so cool.
He's such a good kid, man. I can't believe we lost him. He worked his ass off to get where he worked his ass off to get where he was. He was literally kicked out of the scene. He came back through challengers and made it on our team and won 3 out of the next 5 or 4 events that he was a part of. I'm sorry, no one will ever compete or even get close to a mark like that. That kid, man. I just wanted to say, rest in peace, Jay. I love you, buddy. It's a shame that I won't be able to coach you this year. I was really looking forward to it, but I know you're doing well up there.
He was the nicest person I ever met. Like, the stuff he would go and do for people that he just absolutely didn't have to do was just unbelievable. And I mean, that's what I'm trying to do better now as a person, is just, you know, learn off of him. And he was an incredible player. I think he was the best player in MW, in my opinion. Like, he literally brought a team to winning 3 championships. And I mean, the guy was just unbelievable. Check up on your friends, please. Even if you think they're doing okay. Because it's just, you just never know if something's going on in somebody's life and you can just lose them just like that. So, please check up on your friends. Thank you.
Rest in peace, Maurice, and F3 forever.
Rest in peace, Fero. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, okay? The Call of Duty League is brought to you by GameFuel. Use code CDL2021 for a special CDL launch event discount on GameFuel.com. Tournament audio and team listenings are powered by Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix amp of the Call of Duty League.
They say credit belongs to the man in the arena, who spends himself in a worthy cause. The glory is reserved for the few, who no matter what, answer the call to enter the arena. It echoes out, reverberating across the globe. The only axe to reach the bold, never the timid. The call delivers victory to the deserving and rewards the devoted. For when your time comes, there is only one option. Enter the arena. Fight for the call.
Hello and welcome, Joe.
Hello.
Cal, my friend. My partner in life. We're back.
It has been some time. It feels good to be back. You know, obviously, you know, we missed everybody. You know, I miss commentating with you. I got some butterflies going. It feels good, Maven.
No, it's funny. I've said this before. Like, I guess I've gotten to a point in my career where I don't get to, nervous anymore before broadcast. Just been doing it a long time. But like at the beginning, there's always, the butterflies, the nerves a little bit, ready to get going. It's going to be exciting. But obviously, we want to get into gameplay as quickly as we can. But we've missed all of you. We've seen the tweets, just wondering if we were alive in casting. We are. And it's time to get rocking. First off, let's take a look at one of our squads, the Toronto Ultra.
I'ma get right in my bag. Why you gonna try to get mad? Everybody wanna keep up. Don't you know I move too fast? I'ma zip right past. Drip all on my swag. Why you trying to size me up? You don't wanna try your luck. Hot as a stove, what did you know? Burn like coal, yeah, you know I go. Way too hot, yeah, really too cold. I'ma keep going till I hit my goals. Better get back when I'm in my zone. Do it for the ones that I know back home. Did it myself, they ain't put me on. Don't you call back if you hear that tone. Another level.
Well, Joe, it's a roster we know in the inaugural season. We joked about it being the boy band. Changes all the time. So many players on the team, but by the end of the year, they solidified themselves as a team that seemed they could beat just about anyone. How do you feel about them so far this year?
I mean, obviously, you're losing in that kickoff weekend, but it was a game 5. It was, a very close series with the Minnesota Røkkr, and like you said, it was a bit of an experiment last year with the Toronto Ultra, and there was some feedback given, I think, on both ends, but going to the 4v4, this is a very solid team. The way they closed out the end of the year, they were able to win a home series, and now I think for a lot of people, it's just a question of, can they keep that consistent? Can they improve? They're one of the middle of the pack teams, I think, for a lot of the people, but I would not be surprised if they worked their way into the top 4.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of roster stuff with them. And let's talk about the other side of it with the Mutineers. They've for all sorts of different reasons. This roster has been all over the place and had to fill holes. Let's meet the Mutineers, talk through this squad. I'm excited to see them play.
The dictionary defines redemption as the deliverance of persons or things from the possession and power of captors.
It is a 3-0 victory over the Florida Mutineers.
As the act of making something better. As the act of making up for a loss.
It is over, and that is a shocker for the Mutineers.
We define it as inevitable. You can count our KD. You can count our headshots. You can count our hill time. What you can't do is count us out.
Fear the deep. These guys could be deadly. It's looking that way so far. This This roster, Joe, overall thoughts?
I mean, it's one of those teams that, I don't know, like, you just at times forget about, and then you looked at the kickoff weekend and they beat the Atlanta FaZe, and it's like, yeah, they have some star power on this team. Obviously, Awakening, a breakout player last year. Guys continues to be a superstar in this team. Slack, this is an opportunity for him. I think, you know, he's had so much success in his career, but last year really tested them with the Seattle Surge. He gets on this roster, and then you have the rookie in Neptune, and that is no surprise for the Florida Mutineers and their fans. This team takes risks. Over to Atura, their coach and GM. They love taking shots with young talent, and they're doing it again here with Neptune.
Yeah, and I think there's so many different things I'm excited to see with this team, but I think we consider Slack to be one of the more underrated players in the history of Call of Duty, and he's got a chance here, right? He's surrounded by young talent. I know Skies has been playing a couple of years now, but I still consider him young talent, and like he's got a leadership, an in-game leader role that, you know, he's gonna need to fill, but it is time to get into the game. Best of 5 starting off. We're kicking it off on Garrison, and Joe, we were actually talking kind of leading into this a little bit about this map and how you like it partly because what did you say? You feel it's like different than like any hardpoint we've had in a way?
Yeah, I think when you look at this map, I think hills 1, 2, and 3 are sort of your natural hardpoint, right? You sort of start in the middle of the map. You go to one opposite end, right? You want to control the back spawns. You get to that third hill, you want to control the back spawns. But 4 and 5 is really where this map gets interesting because they're sort of back-to-back from one another. But what we're seeing from our pro teams is you want to control the middle of the map. You don't really want those back spawns with the power position at Catwalk. So it's just been a lot of fun. They have to approach it in a different way.
Well, Awakening, the guy we're going to want to watch a lot this year. You know, the question for him, like, can he repeat what we saw from him last year? And or for Neptune, what are we going to get out of him? I mean, it's crazy. It feels like there are so many players they can pick, and, you know, they go out of this, they go to another planet to find somebody in Neptune. Like, for the hardcore player, you know, it may be somebody you're aware of, but for the average viewer, it's like, who is this guy? Well, he's got a lot to prove, but for Bance, on your screen right now, and the hard points that we at least saw when you were talking about the kickoff weekend, yo, he was electric.
Yeah, he was plus 33 across both of those hard points. They won both the hard points. And he was their best player, absolutely, in this lane category. But you talked about Neptune. He's the one that made the heads-up play right there. He snuck through to get behind this second hill. Bance is trying to stay alive. He was waiting for his teammate in Kleenex to reflank the flank that was set up. He was able to take down 2. He finds the third on the hill. And now they can get set up. You see where Bance is spawning. You do have Skies, though, who gets that very deep back spawn and create a pinch, but it's not the worst thing in the world if you're spawning out because, I mean, it's tough to break this hill if you have hill control.
Well, let's see if they can do it. They're trying to work towards the break. Awakening on Catwalk will get taken down. Slack now into the mix. A chance to take down 2. Unfortunately, gets tucked away in a pocket. The flank will come in and he will drop. So back over to Awakening's POV will go. Just taking a look briefly at the stats. Cammy popping off, Bance as well. Methods, unfortunately for him, yet to find his first kill, but who cares when you've got a 69-12 lead so far? But let's focus on our next hard point as we get over towards generators. And who do we have in the hard point? We've got Bance set up, looking to make the plays. 2 teammates kind of holding the mid push, 1 holding the back spawn to make sure there's no kind of flip. And now the wave from Mutineers will start to surge forward.
Now here comes the pressure. It's actually towards the front of the hill. It's going to be Slacked in Neptune, and we're going to find a couple of kills. They know that the spawns for the Toronto Ultra are going to be close. And now if they can get this second set, they could turn this into a lot of time. Neptune and Slack, the duo who broke from the front, they're going to take down 3. That's going to be all 4 dead, and they needed a break. That could have been a 100-point lead for the Toronto Ultra. A nice break there. And this is what I was sort of talking about now. You get done with this third hill. We're going towards this 4th and 5th hill, which are on the opposite sides of sort of this middle factory. And really what you're going to see both teams trying to control is that middle catwalk. That's where you're going to want your assault rifle players, you know, top green, just sort of looking up over everybody. But they want those sort of middle spawns. You don't want to be spawning on the outside. It can just be so difficult to deal with all the power positions that these teams can hold.
And talk to me just about, you know, let's say you're a viewer that started watching last year. I mean, 5v5, the spawn system was entirely different. There was break after break because of how close the spawns would be. Like, breaks are so much more crucial now, right? Like they're going to lead way more time.
Yeah, it's one of those things on each hill. I mean, depending on the map, you're realistically going to have 2, maybe 3 team pushes, and if those aren't effective, you're going to have to start rotating. And that's one thing we're going to be watching is which of those teams are going to be effective at breaking and how quickly can they do that? Because we've already seen it this year. How many 100-point clubs have we had where, I mean, you know, you start to change some of those hills, things get out of hand. It puts a lot of pressure on that enemy team. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot different.
Yeah, I feel like the opportunity's there for the blowout, but then also those huge swings where you, yeah. So it just, yeah, it should provide some very entertaining moments for sure throughout the course of this year. But up big right now is Ultra in control, leading the way. Cammy and CleanX with 16 and 15 respectively. Let's get right over to an Astro Lycidon with Ultra.
Me right, kill me right.
Oh yes, guys right, guys.
Listen,
right.
one on time, Neptune on time, no trophy on time.
Deep back up tech, weak.
No trophy on time.
Deep up tech, weak awakening. Flank kills. Oh, he's flank me.
Nade close time, nade close time.
We can cut. Yeah. Stay alive. Keep all this time.
Get it, go.
Guys, dead. Nice.
I'm weak here, man.
Time dead.
John, double.
I went gold.
He's got one's holding green, slack's holding green.
Okay, Sky's
deep back.
Guys back.
I'm trying to hold right.
He's pushing bricks, guys.
Stop picking me on time. Guys, dead, one more right on me.
Help you.
Weak on right, Neptune. Nice, good shit. He's in gold, dead. One more's gone right.
I'm on satellite.
Weak on right.
Dead.
I'll play flat.
Okay, one.
Pick up mid. Yeah, okay.
I need help.
I've got gold. If I self in, just play kills.
Yeah, just flank it.
Watch your vent, Toby. That's the only thing you'll die.
Two gone green.
Play waves and then we'll fucking push. Got one. Nice. They can pick up mid. Weak on me, green. Watch your mid event. Green on me. He's jumped out, green jumped out. Mid tanks, awakening. Top green, yeah, awakening mid tanks and top green across bridge.
Yeah, he got me.
Nice, Toby.
On time, child out.
Nice, I'm watching you gold, I'm nading it. One's going gold. Yeah, guys, dead.
One dead, I'm
across the green.
I'm gonna fight.
I'll get some. Push up.
Nothing bottom mid.
My bad, bro. Weak in gold, really weak.
I'm already on you.
We're gonna spawn.
Well, Joe, I'm going to ask you the same question I ask you every single time we come out of an Astro. Listen in, what did you think about the comps from Ultra?
I mean, it's kind of, if you watched the Call of Duty League last year, it is very similar. I mean, Cammy's sort of the vocal leader alongside Methods. CleanX just sort of gets quiet, but he's very effective. You know, he says things that he has to, but he just sort of fries. Like, we just saw him go on that 5 spree. But yeah, very calm, cool, collected on the Toronto Ultra. But a big moment here for the Florida Mutineers. They're going to get this rotation to this second hill. They have this set up right now. You can see the pressure that they can put on towards the middle of the map. Is Awakening able to find 3 kills now on a 5 spree for him. You can see he's trying to get aggressive. He wants the Toronto Ultra to spawn behind them so that they can push up towards that third hill, sort of flip things, and it just makes it tough for Toronto Ultra because then at that point they're going to have to decide, do we hit the old scrap time? Do we go on a maybe 15-second run across the map and just really waste time because potentially if they don't get those kills, they lose 2 hills in a row.
We've had a lot of hard points like that, right? Where you want to hold the back, then at the right time, try to push through. Flip if you can. If you do it perfectly, you get a ton of time, but they haven't been able to push through in the flip as of now. The right side spawn still coming in for Ultra, but watch Skies set up in the window, looking to get aggressive, not able to take the gunfight. Unfortunately for him, Methods pre-aimed and takes it. And all the talk about Bance, I was curious how he's doing. Just around even so far in this one, but he is racking up a lot of objective time. We'll take a look at the Sky Cam for a moment. Just as the new hard point's ready to go. That number 8 on the map is Neptune, looking to pinch from the far side as his teammates collapse in through. Still spawning deep. Was at least 1 player for Ultra, but 2 will get spawned out. A chance to accrue a lot of time here. Still 30 seconds remaining on the hard point, but Ants and Cammy still doing what they can from the back, and now the safe spawns come in again.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's almost tough. Awakening read that really well. So he was middle of the map. And he knew that 2 players were going to spawn out, and he ends up getting those kills. But it actually gives Toronto Ultra another opportunity to really save the hill. But the kills come in for the Florida Mutineers. They're able to make that messy. They're now only down 30 points. A nice comeback from the Florida Mutineers, led by Awakening. As well, you're going to see Slack. He's going to know exactly where Cammy is. As both teams trying to get mid-control, hit that top green tower. Vance and CleanX trying to make things messy. But it should be Florida in the hill early on.
And it's just, yeah, I think we were all curious about Awakening, man. Is this guy going to fry? You know, there are people accusing him of this, of that last year because he just came out of nowhere and seemed to be a superstar. But it looks like, well, turns out the guy's got the ability to still be a superstar regardless of title. He's putting on a show in this map, but it's Ultra in the point for now. This guy's just trying to get an angle, trying to take the catwalk fight, but it's CleanX that's cleaning up too. And that's another guy that sort of has just erupted lately that we want to see if it'll transition more title to title. But he's at least got a couple titles under his belt with the deep run in Black Ops 4 champs. But CleanX, man, he is a talent and he is fun to watch.
And this is an example of kind of what I was talking about. You're seeing how difficult it is for Florida when they're spawning on that right side of the map. Well, you have to try to push through caution. You have to try to push through this dark room. But dealing with the players on catwalk, dealing with all the different angles, bottom, middle, there's just so much that these Ultra players can finesse, and then they flip it. This is a great job by Toronto Ultra. They just have to hunt down Slacked, and they're able to do that as Methods takes them down. And this is that setup. So CleanX is basically, he understands that the spawn's going to be back here no matter what. Due to Methods' positions top catwalk, he's going to block those back spawns. He's going to allow his teammates to get on the hill, and they're just going to make it so difficult for the Florida Mutineers to get out of this trap. I mean, look at this. That's so much freedom.
Word. Yeah. Trap's the right word. Like, you can get, and it's just the nature of this map being maybe a little bit different in the past, but you have, like, kind of the, well, quote-unquote, safe spawn top and bottom, that far left side of the mini-map, and you can push up so much as the other team, and you're just, like, funneling in, right? Just, like, funneling in the gunshots from everybody, but yes, all done by Ultra. Just a few points needed to close it out. They're in the point. That'll do it. Another hard point victory coming through for Ultra as they take map 1. And that was the one thing that looked good for them, right? They take both the hard points. In the first series we saw from them, they continue to look good here. And if they can be a consistent hard point team, it's 2 out of your 5 modes, you're going to be a threat.
Well, I think what was interesting about Toronto Ultra last year is, I mean, they would just take people a distance. They were a great search and destroy team. So when we saw them in the kickoff weekend lose both searches in a game 5, we're like, okay, not too much to worry about. They can obviously make some adjustments. But as you said, if Cammy and CleanX, 2 of the breakout players from last year, are going to continue to play at this high of a level, Toronto Ultra is simply going to be a really difficult team to beat because you know what you're going to get out of Methods. And Vance is sort of that X factor. We've seen him have the ability to explode like we saw in that first match of the year. But it's Cammy and CleanX who were their consistent players last year. They continue it here. Here's the damage. Here are the kills and the deaths from the Toronto Ultra and the Florida Mutineers in that game number 1.
Yeah, you can take a look through the stats, but what a game from CleanX. 36 and 21, Joe. Able to have a huge one. And I have to test something. There was all the jokes about Lando's giant hands. I want to see what a giant bald head does with our current virtual stats.
Let's see it. So, I gotta watch the program. You already have a giant head as well. Yeah,
how big is it?
Yeah.
Is it big?
Well, yeah, it's a very big bald head. Yes, it is.
Yeah. That's what I needed, baby. But after that, everybody probably needs to cleanse their eye palates from what they just saw. Great map 1. Ultra get the win. We're headed to a quick break.
boy, oh boy, what a slaughter that was. Cammy on a bit of a tear now. God dang, Ultra are looking fine. The battle for the North is already off to a great start.
Strong start from Toronto.
Rams wins another big one. Oh my word! Ultra close it out.
Here we are, back again to continue on with the series, Joe. I just wish I could actually physically touch you because you're beautiful, honestly.
Should we we've had like high fives, we had fist bumps, but I feel like you and I should be a little different. Should we do just, we just saw you have should we try like headbutting each other? Like what should?
Oh, you want to try to headbutt? Okay, on one. Are you ready?
God, okay.
I don't know how far we have to go. All right, 3, 2, 1.
It kind of worked.
I was pretty close for what I saw. I was pretty close. But all right, let's get to the game fuel keys to victory. We're going to talk through some of the big points for these teams for this particular match and what's going to set them apart and who might get the W. Let's look at Ultra first. Joe, take me through it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about bans, but if he can continue that form in hardpoint, yeah, they're going to be difficult to beat, but what was it? It was Cammy and Kleenex, which is one of our points as well. If they can continue to be consistent stars in this league, we know what the Toronto Ultra can be. And they just need to button down some key S&D rounds. I mean, they lost 2 very close search and destroys to what I think you and I assume will be one of the better search teams this year in the Minnesota Røkkr in a 6-4 and 6-5. If they can clean search up, yeah, that is a key.
It's tough though. It's just so hard to know going from 5v5 to 4v4, like how it can affect things. It's like, yeah, I don't know. It should be, maybe. We'll have to wait and see. But there were your keys for Ultra. Now let's look through it for Mutineers. Your game fuel keys to victory. Go ahead.
Yeah, and on the opposite end, it's Skies and Awakening in Search and Destroy. We don't know too much about Neptune in Search and Destroy, but it's his first year in the league. Slacked, never the best Search and Destroy player in his career, but he's got some S&D superstars around him. Skies was 3rd last year, Awakening was 5th last year in our league. I think with Neptune, allow him to be comfortable. I think you and I discussed with Shotzzy on the Dallas Empire. We saw the first event where he just wasn't himself because he was trying to play a different role than what he wanted to. Let Neptune do his thing. You have some vets around him. They'll set him up. He gets comfortable, he could be a superstar. Then lastly, for Slacked, I think no matter what, no matter how your individual performance is, because, as a sort of in-game leader or a captain, I think if things are going bad for you, you may have a tendency to get a little quiet. He's going to make sure he has to be that leader, no matter how his game is going.
100% agree. And I think the biggest thing is Neptune. And like you said with Shotzzy, like I remember talking to Clay about it a lot. Like, when you're switching titles to a different game, yes, these guys are really talented, but you want to simplify it for them. And like Shotzzy, I think, was running smoke trophy, trying to play around the objective too much. Once they kind of took the chains off and let him go wild, suddenly he was just destroying. So try to make him comfortable. And we think of different players. Usually, I mean, we're more talking maybe about Respawn, but then now going into a search, like when I think of somebody maybe like a Formal when he first switched over from Halo, the thing that was the toughest for him at first was search. Like, it takes some time. I mean, there are players that have been competing in Call of Duty for 10 years that still stink at search. Like, there is something that clicks for some people and some that don't, but usually that's the mode that when you switch takes the longest to go. And I would love to say Slack as the M-game leader can be helpful there, but he's usually on horrible search teams. So I think the help there more than likely is going to come from Skies or Awakening. But let's get into it. We're going to Miami, and my favorite part of this map is that it just looks sexy.
Yeah, I mean, as do you today, Clay. I mean, that shirt is on point.
Thank you.
Look like you'd be enjoying a nice, night in Miami during this time.
Wait. What did you actually say, by the way, when you first saw me? Tell the truth.
I kind of thought you looked like a professor teaching a history class. That's what I thought.
Thank you.
Now I kind of think like maybe you sell cotton candy. I don't know, but it still looks pretty good.
Thanks, Joe. But now as we focus onto the round one, it looks like the opening hit going to be out towards A. And, we've talked a lot about this point. If you can get the bomb down, it's pretty easy to hold. But can you get the bomb down is the big question. And, Joe, what makes that dynamic exist here?
Oh, it's just tough. I mean, you have the building at A, right? I think the other night when we watched sort of accuracy versus slasher have all those one-on-ones. But with that first blood, things are going to open up a little bit, but that's what I mean. Can Skies get across to this point? Can they get the bomb down? You know, you have a first blood. Maybe you start thinking about rotating, but that's not going to happen. Cammy's not going to finish off that kill, but CleanX is there, and there's going to be some trades, so we're going to be in a 2 versus 2 situation. But that's the other thing. You know, going to A, it takes a lot of time. There's only 25 seconds now. It's going to be tough to rotate it. Skies has to get this bomb. Awakening is towards the middle of the map. The rotation is here from the Toronto Ultra.
Yeah, there's no time to rotate on the other side.
Yeah, he's got to go.
Got 15 seconds. You got to try and get this plant in. Skies is going to go for the plant. Awakening looking over them. These have been their 2 superstars in Search and Destroy last year. Both like in the top 5 in KDs in that department, and Awakening making the play. Able to pick up 1, puts Methods into a tough spot here in a 1 versus 2. CDL comes in, Awakening gets both, and well, if I was going to pick any 2 players I'd want to have alive in that 2v2, it was those 2. They close it out, they win the round.
Those are those rounds I think we were sort of talking about for the keys to victory, because I think right there, you know, Methods and CleanX do a good job to make it a 2 versus 2, but you understand that sooner or later they're going to have to go for a plant. I think CleanX or Methods, whatever the communication needs to be, needs to just be a little bit faster. You should be able to catch that player on the bomb. You saw him cross to it. You know he has to plant. He's not faking it. There's no time in that round.
Yes. Try and make sure you're not the first death in that 2v2 and the pressure's on the other team. But Awakening will get 3 in that round. So a nice hot start, but let's swap sides and now see what Ultra can do offensively. Awakening just backing up. Methods looking for any kind of angle, trying to watch like the push towards lobby, get eyes on a mid-cross as well. Aim, oh, I thought for a second the patience might have paid off. Thought he caught 1. Skies is there. He's able to hit the shots. Nade comes through, but he's able to stay up. So first blood to Ultra.
Skies almost buys himself a little bit of time with that trophy. Slacto with a nice trade, you know, forced to 3 versus 3, but he's gonna have a long time to rotate. While that was going on, there's a bomb plant that goes down. Bans gets taken off the site. CleanX trying to finesse around, find his 2nd kill of the round. Does get taken down, and now it's a 1 versus 1. And this is what we mean. If you're able to get this bomb down, look at all of the different angles you had to deal with the player on the defuse. Amy just watching the cross.
Neptune. The new guy. Show us what you're capable of, and well, you're capable of sliding out and getting pegged by a nade. It did not go well. That was directly in an uncomfortable spot. The nade connects.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it takes a second to throw Semtexes, but you're like Aaron Rodgers in this game. You can just throw it.
You got a cannon.
Yeah, you have a cannon. You really do. You'll see some Semtexes in Hardpoint especially. You're like, wow, that actually connected. And yes, it will. So yeah, that definitely hurt, especially when you're 1 HP.
Well, a tough loss there in the 1 versus 1, but it'll tie us up at 1 round apiece. Over to Methods now. Just trying to keep eyes on the push through top purple. Multiple players stacked up from the Mutineers, but first blood for Awakening. Another kill for him. 5th, already through 3 rounds. The man is on a mission. His method, once again, well, I mean, as he plays in Respawn as well, you'll see him being patient, stationary with an AR more often than not, but Vance does answer the call. Now to the 3v3, how do they want to play this? Number 5, you see at Awakening, he's pushed up all the way towards the site. You've still got Vance set up in the A building. It's not clear yet for this plant. There's almost 30 seconds left.
I think with the kill that Band Scott, they knew they were rotating towards A, but I'm not sure if they thought Awakening would be there. What Awakening was doing was trying to cut the defenders off that were rotating from B to A. Does get spotted. That's a nice nade from Band. He's able to connect, but Awakening is still alive. Played his life so well, but CleanX is there, and now it's a 1 versus 2, and there's a solid defensive win. And usually this is more of a defensive favored map, just with how difficult it is to push both of these bomb sites. Band's there with a nice nade, some nice kills. A great round from him.
Yeah, these have all been like long rounds. They've all come down to what, like 2v2, 1v1, 2v2. Like it's been hotly contested and going deep in the clock, and just, you know, part of kind of how this map plays, obviously, when you're playing around that A site as well. But Still just keeping an eye on Awakening because he's got 6. The rest of the team combined for 3 currently for the Mutineers, but still obviously very much in the game. Now, what's going to be the op for the hit? It looks like the pressure going to go towards A again. Defensively, you'll have Awakening playing from that side as well. Now, Methods is playing from, I would say, he's playing from his exact same position he was last time through. I thought he might get caught, but he's backed it up for an off angle. We'll see what the rest of his teammates can do as they look for the push onto Awakening.
And you'll see the sort of start of the Florida defense is 3 towards B, and I think when this game first came out, it's the easier site to sort of push. You can be really aggressive with it. You can fight for lobby control, for top piano. You can use those 74s and really get crazy. You can make the rounds fast, and if you get a fast plant down towards B, it's difficult for those A players to get across. But I think teams have gotten better with it defensively. They tried throwing maybe a couple more strategies towards A, and that's really what we've seen so far in this game. But with Ultra, they know that a lot of rotations have come out towards the B side, so there's only one player here right now, and that's going to be on Skies. Try and slow things down. He's going to hear the plant come in. He's going to play his life. Now there's only 20 seconds to work this plant. That's exactly what you want out of Skies, and Awakening is working the middle of the map. And there's the teamwork, the S&D superstar that we know he can be. A great round from Skies to shut down this offense.
Skies goes absolutely huge. You highlight him as the lone man, and well, he stops the bomb plant twice, which ends up being so big for that power position up top. Those are some beams there from Awakening as well. Nice gunfight win from him, but Skies, obviously the guy doing the dirty work in and around the site as Awakening comes through with the best play, though, to close it out. And yeah, it's that duo that they're gonna be scary in search, man. They should be scary in search. Yeah, this might be the first team in Sky. Or how long has Slack been competing?
Long time. Yeah, I know it's gonna be. He's like, wow, I'm winning a lot of searches.
Yeah, no. I can almost guarantee this year, from a win percentage in search, will be the highest of his entire career. I'm just going to go ahead and call that now. I can be told that's a Maven fact for sure, but like, it's gotta be.
So here's more of a sort of traditional B hit from the Mutineers. They're going to get top control. One player's going to work towards that left parking garage. Rotations will be here from Ultra. They're just watching from that at back alley. Be nice watching across the bomb. Nobody's here. Bance is just making sure nobody's sort of lurking towards the beach side. Sort of play that lurk role. Find an opening. Maybe flank the defense. So he's making sure there's no flanks coming in.
Awakening. What angle can he get? Take some damage. He'll back down. Tammy, get ready to hop over the wall. Here comes the flood. Usually when the battle goes down, it all happens at once. A flurry of kills. Unfortunately, none for Ultra. Vance on the offsite rotating over. He is all by his lonesome. That's not a gunfight you're ever going to win. And that was a clean one there for Mutineers. Once the madness started going, there wasn't even a single trade on the Ultra side.
That's it. It was just too clean. They were really waiting for that player to hop over that mid wall and for that player to make the play. I believe it was Cammy. And with someone from watching that, able to take them down, it was really on him. You saw Kleenex inside of here, just sort of waiting for him. As soon as Cammy maybe starts that trade, that's when Kleenex is flying out. That's when he can get aggressive because those players back alley will immediately look towards that site, towards the bomb. But it just doesn't happen. That was clean, and it's Neptune, the rookie we talked about. 3 big kills in that round.
Yeah, what did I say? It was like 6 for Awakening and then 1 for everybody else. Guys and Neptune have really picked it up. Now the 3-2 advantage. You've actually got 2 players defensively over towards A this time. Neptune was just, I don't know. Like, yeah, there's like snow angels. Maybe he was making like a sand angel. He's just
hanging out, dude.
Really,
he's
really
just watching the waves.
Sand.
You know, with a little...
Yeah. Beautiful.
Well, nighttime, he's collecting some shells. He's hanging out.
Hey, what's up, dude?
I mean, this is a great call because realistically, there's been no early aggression from the Ultra at B. So we saw early on what Florida was doing is they were sending 3 towards B. But this time they switch it up. They send Neptune in a... I don't think they're going to check this angle.
No, this is the first time they've had 2 players there. It's been Awakening.
You don't want that to happen. That's a problem.
But this is where it gets interesting. Do they expect another player? Awakening's been the only guy here this entire time. Neptune's got a chance to disrupt everything. There he's able to pick up 1. The trade, though, does come in. I thought if he could get a kill and get away with his life, that setup might have actually worked out. But yeah, Awakening getting Hyper Beam did not exactly help the scenario.
Yeah, I mean, you're just literally setting up Neptune in that position. We'll see, though, if Slacked and Skies can clutch this out. Down to a 1 versus 2, but the Ultra, they use their numbers. And yeah, so let's talk about that. Really what Neptune and Awakening are doing is they're setting up a trap. Right? As soon as Awakening starts shooting, maybe there's aggression towards him. That's when Neptune sees the player run by him. Boom, Neptune comes out, says, hello, I'm here. Let me introduce myself. I'm a rookie. And, you know, finds 2 kills. But that doesn't happen. So with Awakening going down, the numbers were there. As soon as Neptune pops up, boom, there's a trade.
No, yeah, it's just interesting because I thought, yeah, even though Awakening died, like the trap still could have possibly worked, right? If they just didn't, yeah, the trade didn't happen, but it did. So good plays there, and they'll tie us back up. 4 kills apiece on the board for everybody on the Ultra side of things. And it's just been pretty A-heavy for the most part offensively. I know we've seen some work towards B, but a lot of the slow build-up early. Wow, Method's almost caught. He gets hit down to 38 HP as the bullets start soaring in, but Awakening, he's had a flood of first bloods in this game. There's another one. Cammy will drop. The Awakening tear continues.
And this is when you have to get active if you're Toronto Ultra, right, to try to even this out. It should be Pants, maybe to be the player to find Awakening, but Awakening is just so active on the map. He's so confident in his abilities. Already up to double digits, already has 10 kills. Saw Slash slide across. Is the nade going to connect? Nope, Slash safe for now, but there's that angle. Pants is able to take it. Now because there's only a little bit of time left. Pretty soon Neptune is going to have to get the plan in. Nice play by Pants. Able to stop the bomb plant. Can't finish the kill, not going to have enough time. And I'll be honest, watching this, Clint, you know, playing some replay, one of the toughest things is seeing people on this map. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe they have better monitor settings than me. But seeing some of these beans across the map, I'm like, how did you see him?
100. I was thinking the same thing, dude. Like when I was playing, it's night, obviously, which doesn't help. But especially like early when I was leveling up like default guns without sights and everything, I was playing this map for the first time. I was like, I can't. There's no chance I'm beaming someone from anywhere. But then, yeah, you see pros just make it look so comically easy. That's probably why they're professional players in a franchise league.
That's probably right. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, or maybe we just need new eyes. Hopefully we get to a point, you know, like the Cyberpunk game or something where we have like, I don't know, cyber enhancements where we can.
I think that's just LASIK.
Robotic eyes
if
put
you
in.
want your eye, I think you just get LASIK.
I don't want LASIK. I want like robot eyes, dude. Those are 2 different things. Now, it has been a very, very slow forward progression for Ultras. Everyone is getting tagged up as they're trying to get any angle onto A.
So with Method's position, though, you see number 3 all the way at the bottom of the mini-map. Now, is Toronto, are they trying to wrap back to him, or are they going to try to go A and then let Methods make the play? But it looks like it's going to be a wrap back. So you have a 2-2 split here. It's going to get interesting. But 2 players have stayed here. Nobody really rotated out, but now Slack's going to go. He's going to go back to the middle. Skies is going to get caught. It's going to be a 3 versus 3. That's going to open the bomb side up, so that works. So they buy enough time. They force a rotation. Now what does Oda try to do? They try to hunt down Cammy, but he's able to find one.
Yeah.
He's just got to play his life.
And like I get that, like you're thinking, let's take the 3-on-1 quick, get the kill, and then isolate the other 2. But unfortunately, he's in a very, very strong position where he's set up. So Cammy ends up taking one down. Neptune, though, we're able to pick up a big one. Cammy still, though, posted up, all eyes over mid-map, but that's going to leave a 2-on-1 on the site. It's not a lot of time to work with. They've got to go, and they've got to catch Methods quickly. Methods will get caught. They've got time to hop it. Cammy, you better run. You better run fast.
Neptune's reading this.
Drop on the Pumas.
Reading it.
Get on going. The angle is held. The defuse is coming through, and the Mutineers get the round win.
And there's another one of those rounds, right, where the Toronto Ultra, everything is looking good. This just has to be a little bit better. I mean, obviously, Methods is like thinking, I have to check the bomb. But they know where Cammy was. He shot in the top balcony. I mean, he can come from any different position, but Neptune just takes the shot. He's watching over Awakening. There's no angle or no other choice he really has to go for the defuse.
Yeah.
And they read it.
It's tough because like I get when you're Cammy, when you have 2 players alive at B, like I get just still holding mid, holding the push through, like playing your life. I get it, but you know, once there's one player on the site and they can isolate him, I don't know.
Gotta be a little quicker, right?
Yes, you just have to. Yes, yeah. As soon as they died on site, I'm like, he's screwed. He's gonna hike across the map basically to get there. This is gonna be a quick one to start. Cleanex goes big, takes down 2, involved in the action with Cammy and Awakening now all alive, or last alive. 1 versus 2. Minute on the clock, so still a ton of time to work with. But Bomb is down, and he's got to figure out how he's going to make the play. The good thing, though, is the clock. Like, he has a little time to work with here to maybe get a pick, get away with his life, then worry about the objective. But the longer I talk and the longer the time goes, that disappears. But there it is. That's why having that extra time is great. You can take a long ride around, pick up a kill, put it into a 1 versus 1. Now 30 seconds to go, but you still have to get this bomb or win the one-on-one versus Cleanex. Another one-on-one of this big game 2 search and destroy.
Cleanex has the advantage right now. He might have spotted the bomb down, and he has this 74U up top in this piano room, and that's exactly where you want it. He's going to force Awakening to come towards him. Awakening is just trying to catch a timing. Maybe you can get him to come out. The pistol is out. Now it's just a time thing. Cleanex might just be able to run away. Yeah, he's going to play it smart. He's out, and we'll see you later. So Awakening, he can't get the bomb down. Why? It takes 5 seconds to plant. In search and destroy. Awakening almost read that. Okay.
Dude, imagine.
Couple more seconds and maybe.
He slid out.
Maybe.
Imagine he slid out, just beams him somehow going across. That would have been unbelievable. But yeah, you nailed the breakdown. That's all Cleanex. Because remember, Cleanex gets 2 in the opening frenzy there inside of the lobby. And then the smart play, the heads up play. Once you get the information and you know where Bomb is, you know where Awakening is, you know what the time's at, you get out. Perfectly done. Now 5-4. One more round and Ultra are going to go up 2-0 in this series.
And that was one of the more like
triple positive.
That was the round where when this game first came out, that was it. It was just sort of head on head, 74 U's versus 74 U's all over that B control to get up top balcony. But
oh yeah, compared to all these like slow A hits that go down to the final 20 seconds. Yeah. Well, that's the nature of Call of Duty in general. I think changing every year. You see quick transitions in a lot of modes, but Search especially, it can change drastically very, very quickly. But each team able to get a pick into a 3 versus 3. Awakening. He somehow tack on his 14th kill. This might be one of those ones where you drop a bomb, you have a beast performance, but you're holding the L on the map.
Methods was still in that position all the way down low, so this is basically going to be a 2 versus 3. Somehow Cleanex gets behind enemy lines. Was able to find one, so maybe that opens things up. Now what's the call going to be? You have 20 seconds. His band's going to try and get across the middle of the map. That might be the play. He's going to go. Methods has been at B the whole time. He hasn't seen anything work the flank. Is he going to get there in time? It's a foot race. He's got to get there with 5 seconds left. Methods is able to find 1. Methods is able to find 2. The plant doesn't even come in. The beams from the main AR in Toronto Ultra, and they're going to take a 2-0 lead. Nice shots out of Methods.
Methods getting it done. Beams on beams on beams. Awakening a monster map, but unfortunately, he will be the victim there. And well, you talked about Ultra, that we think they should be a good search team. They haven't lost a hard point yet. And the big, what was your key to victory? Kind of talking about what? Like those key rounds, those clutch rounds, trying to come out on top. And there were a ton of situations over that map too that I think you could define under that. Like a lot of different 2v2s, a lot of big trade exchanges, and they came up clutch when it mattered. They get the victory. That's a big map win.
Yeah, obviously Awakening 13 kills, 2,300 damage on the map, but I mean Methods, he kind of matches the damage at 2,200 up to 11. A big game from him, but it really was. I mean, almost every offensive round came down to the clock. One team getting that plant down or not, but adjustments on both sides, a little aggression here and there, sometimes working the flank, sometimes not. Toronto Ultra, clean search and destroy. I mean, there's a couple of things they could have improved on. Of course, we sort of pointed it out.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
That's 4v4.
Yeah, the fact is you get the victory. It's interesting. I think it's funny to me a little bit that like Methods ended up having as big of a game as he did, because I feel like when we went to him, usually it was showing him kind of at the offsite, like on offense, just L-triggering, holding. Like a lot of times we went to him, it's like he wasn't involved in the action, but when stuff got mixy, he was able to make the plays and they come away with the W. Ultra, keep it rolling. But now let's take a look at our U.S. Army tactical play. And this is going to be the play from Clemsix, because it's little stuff like this. Knowing your situation, knowing you need to run away and play your life when you have the clock to work with you. But Joe, take us through it one more time.
Yeah, so I mean, Clemsix right now, he knows where the bomb is. He knows he has the 74U. He has the advantage in a close range fight. So he's just sort of waiting for Awakening to maybe run by him, maybe not. But Awakening's going to check the corner. The shots are going to come in. And I think some players in that scenario, even with getting the first shot in, will probably push that challenge. And I mean, we've seen it go really, really wrong plenty of times. But what does he do? He knows that he backed up with about 9 seconds left. Probably can't get the plan in. So he wins the round just playing his life.
Yeah, and that's just one of those ones where, is it the flashiest play? No, the flashy play was probably the opening of the round he made, but just a heads-up play from him. They get it. They go up 2-0. It is map 3 on Raid that's going to be coming up next. Control. It's been evolving over the course of this title. The game mode is an absolute blast to watch. We'll see you on the other side of this break.
Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G. Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The Call of Duty League is presented by USAA Insurance. We offer insurance that's made for the military community to help them easily protect what they've worked hard for.
Florida Mutineers, brilliant players all round.
It's all on a slack. This is it.
Just straight up winning the gunfights.
Now it's looking a bit spicy. Skies on a rampage right now. Run, Florida! This could be huge. Big weight.
Awareness level 99 for Awakening.
And Neptune starting to look a bit nasty. Welcome to the COD League, young man.
Florida just pulled out some magic to make it happen.
And what a show they're putting on for us.
Let's continue on in this series, and we're going to Garrison. My fault. Raid is for the next series, map 3. I was looking at the wrong list, so that's on me. But this is a breakdown of how it's gone so far, in case maybe you joined us a little bit late. Toronto take a 250 to 164 in the map 1, 6-4 in the search and destroy, in complete control of this best of 5. But we saw a similar thing happen last series, and things went dicey and went the distance. So nothing is over yet. Ultra just looking to close it out. But Joe, while we wait for the map to load, talk to me a little bit just about maybe the evolution of control in this title so far this year.
Yeah, I think when it was introduced, obviously, you know, we played it in Black Ops 4. We loved it. There was so much, it was just a different dynamic to it, right? We were trying to find that game 3 that just felt right with boots on the ground COD, because obviously in advanced movement, everybody loved uplink, but it just didn't work with going back to boots. So just trying to find that game 3 that we loved. And you know, it's a little different because there was specialists, 5v5. And at first, there is still some maps like Garrison, which is very defensive heavy, but our pro teams are getting better and better at it. You're going to see a lot more stacking. When there's 3 to 4 players on one of these points, it can go very, very quickly.
Well, that change alone since the beginning of the year has been one of the single biggest things, right? Just how quickly you can make progress. But no, I think it's come a long way. Like, I just feel like there was a lot of, at least I felt negativity about it at first, and concerns and talk about CTF, but my eyes, control is far better and easier to take title to title and less dependent on your map pool. And I love it. It's just a fantastic and fun mode to watch. And you mentioned, though, this map is where teams are still trying to get creative, work on the offensive side of things. And Vance does find 2 kills, but an aid coming through right after that to get going. But talk to me a little bit about the goal of the Mutineers here early on offense.
Yeah, I think most teams just try to get that B side. The B side is, I mean, it's the easier one to get for the offense. But it's really about sort of getting map control. I think what we talked about in Hardpoint, where, you know, that 4th and 5th hill, you kind of see here, you get stuck in the back of the map. You have to challenge these ARs, these players in these power positions, and you can get really, really staggered. So it's about trying to keep players who are alive middle of the map, maybe on one of those tanks. So this doesn't happen because that time goes quickly. You at least want to get some pressure on that B point to just stall the clock. We talked about that a lot in Black Ops 4. So that'll be important, just that clock. But right now, the Toronto Ultra is perfect out of them. You can't really ask for much better. Finally, someone's going to get on it. I'm going to slow that clock down a little bit. Here comes the push now. Skies was able to read that. Him and Neptune still have to work the site. They're able to do so right now.
Well, lives pretty similar on either side, but that's not the part that really matters right now. It's the clock. 17 seconds. It stopped because they're on the point. aMe, though, nice little gunfight win to come through. The trade is there, and a player's still on the point, so the clock will still be at a standstill. As Awakening tries to make what progress he can. Needs teammates to rally in, though, to move it quicker, and you can see just how fast that bar starts to move. Once you get multiple players stacked on it, they'll get that point, they'll get the added minute. So what looked so perfect for Ultra, which was early, now you've got a chance for Mutineers. They get that 1 point, they give themselves a little bit of life. And, well, you have a slight edge in the lives department. One thing just to quickly discuss, if you know, we only had it in Black Ops 4. If you, so we haven't watched Control since then. It's a little bit different. Like what, it used to show respawns remaining. Now it shows lives remaining. So it's a little bit different. Just if there's any confusion for anybody maybe watching this for the first time since like Black Ops 4.
But now over to this A side, and this can be the tricky one. I think Slash so far has done a great job staying alive. You have the life advantage, but he's just staying alive behind this satellite, buying time for his teammate to get top green. Now they have to try to flood on through that single door. That's what can make it difficult, but Awakening, Slack has gone so big right now on a 4 spree up to 8-4, but it's him playing his life, has bought his team time, and what looked like it was going to be a very bad round for the Florida Mutineers. It might turn into an offensive win. Here comes the push. Only 2 players remaining, aMe and Methods. They have to get on it. They have to contest. Slack, though, keeps it going up to 6. Can he find number 7 and the round win? It's all on aMe. Trying to stay alive, and there it is. Slack does it all towards the A site.
Slack just goes absolutely huge, and he's talked about top offensive wins. There's one. They only had 17 seconds remaining trying to get that first point. They get it. They get the extra time, and then they get the point. Slacked. The vet the huge heads-up plays. And I mean, really what it was, though, is it was that 3 down, right? They get the 3 down, they get a little bit of a clearance, they're able to get set up in those power positions, and they close it out. But just to go back to what I was saying, I've gotten some tweets just about confusion with it when I talked about lives versus respawns. Really, the only difference there is just the players alive are included in that lives number. So that's why it's a little bit different, though. If you ever have questions while watching, just know the players alive are included in that number. But Mutineers, there's the first round victory. Now, can they get a defensive hold? They need a map win desperately as they're down 0-2. It's Awakening trying to play, but against the 74U at that range, not going to be the easiest thing. But coming off of the huge play from Slack and a massive offensive round and a battle back in this series, I want to go to an Astro listen-in to Mutineers.
All right, one more B. I
got need. He's up. They're mid. They have a trophy on B.
He's one shot peeling, one shot peeling.
2 trophies, diver push.
Don't lose too many lives there. Do not lose too many lives.
Watch the peak.
Let's try getting a kill mid if we can.
Let's probably go.
Caution.
I flash green.
Caution, clear next, one shot.
Anything? Right corner here.
Top.
Floating, one shot. Absolute floating. Fell off absolute.
Floating dead.
Nice shit. Nice.
Let me die.
Flash on this.
On B. 3.
Nice,
We got 4.
Right corner.
Dead.
Nice, good shit, bro. Nice, good shit. Get on point.
Keep watching caution. Keep watching. You. I'm getting caution. No, back left, Cammy.
I'm here.
He's holding. Wasn't you. I'm one shot. You one shot. Nice.
Back left, floating.
Nice 3.
Just save.
Yo, the big garage.
One shot absolute mid. Pushing our mid.
Take out boy, get away.
So they're mid tanks.
Middle. There's hopped in.
Probably pipes. They're probably gonna be pipes. Yo, top floating, Cammy. Top floating and 2 on B.
I can help you B.
Yo, mid, Cammy.
Watch out.
Mutineers trying to get it done. Just briefly, I don't know, any big difference in comms you heard there versus maybe the listening with the Ultra?
No, I think it was, I mean, you're down 0-2. I think everybody was still calming very well. The vibes still seem to be there. I think one good thing that I always like to hear in control is, hey, remember to play your life. I think sometimes, you sort of get into a rhythm, you hit the back button, you've doubled your deaths compared to your teammates, right? You let the game get to you a little bit. Just hearing that every now and then, like sort of waiting for each other, not wasting lives. We know how important that can be. You just saw it last round. Just a reminder to your team, but B-Zone will come in.
No.
Gammy just trying to play his life, but it's slacked in the middle of the map again.
It's interesting, though, because I think like that whole playing your lives just becomes more important just than the switch to the 4v4 even in general. Like just even for something like Hardpoint, but especially, control. Like your lives are so much more valuable. Just how the spawn system is and how the game plays, but with these 40 seconds and the 1 point, we'll see if they can continue to hold on. I mean, they haven't even done step 1 yet if they're Ultra and gotten towards the site to delay this and try to maybe make a big play like we saw Mutineers do on the other side of things. It is still firmly locked down by Mutineers, second by second. Chances dwindling away. And it looks like we should have a 2-0 edge. Mutineers barring some kind of miracle.
Just gonna have to find the kills. That's really it.
Yeah.
I mean, if they get the kills, it's over.
Slack's gonna be huge here. Okay. Slack. Here we go. It's a 4 versus 4 down the lives department. It's only 6 seconds. Someone's gonna have to get on the objective, though. At least stop the clock.
They're able to do it. They're able to do it. There's that push. And there we go.
They get the push through. They're able to do it. They get somebody on the objective to stop the clock. Give them enough time to find the final kills. And yeah, it came down to what? Just basically a 4 versus 4. Suddenly it's looking like a search and destroy round. And they pull it off. Back-to-back offensive round victories. Hey, these rounds have been crazy.
And I think that's a little bit of a mistake maybe on the Mutineer side. You're obviously trying to control the middle of the map, but if you looked up, I think it was like 11-10 in the life category favoring the Mutineers. And, with only 30 seconds or so on the clock, you can play back. It's very difficult to break a setup on the A side, right? If you're all together, if you're sort of holding like you would hold that hard point. But that doesn't happen. And then it comes down to a 4 versus 5, and they finally back on up. But the reads come in from the Ultra.
So even at the end, like you're saying, like I was thinking Slack's position, the off angle might catch somebody and kind of stagger that entire push. But if they're grouped up, maybe it goes a little bit better.
Yep.
And that's got to be tough if you're Mutineers, because like, you know, you get that crazy offensive round win, you give yourself maybe some momentum in the series, and then you kind of, I don't know, throw away is the right word, but you lose a round that you probably shouldn't have, and now suddenly not in the best position, but a bit of it progress onto that A point. Neptune just trying to play his life and also hunt down defensive players as they rotate in. He's gotten eyes, just haven't been able to finish kills, just enough in the clip there to turn and snap and take down one, but that'll be a given up at the A side. But on the other side, his teammates were able to win it towards B. With 2 people on it, that should be finished. You've still got a minute remaining on the clock. They've basically been on an objective this entire time. So you've got 2 minutes now to work with to push this 1 point. You've got a 4 life advantage as well. It looks good for Mutineers, but every time in this game we've said, or on the control, we've said it looks good for someone, the opposite result happens.
Well, now just because Neptune, he sort of got through towards A side, right? He paused the clock for so long, allowed his team to work towards B. Now you can kind of play a little bit of a TDM if you're the Mutineers. You have the life advantage. Well, you had the life advantage. Now it's going to go away. So you do have Cleanex sort of.
Yeah, that's why I kind of was like, uh-oh, when that 3 down happened, because that whole life advantage just disappeared, and it gave map control to Ultra to kind of push up, and you know, now you got to play in layers if you're Mutineers. You got to win mid-map first before you can make progress towards A. And you can see Cleanex's position. He's kind of behind enemy lines. He can play spoiler here in a big way. Slack is there with, or sorry, Bance is there. Slack is there with the read, but Cleanex is able to get the kill. He wins the gunfight. Skies come soaring in maybe for a melee, but the trade will be in for Ultra. And we talked about 2 minutes being on the clock. A minute of that is already gone, but you have done step 1, right? You've gotten mid-map. Now can we get on to the point?
Yeah, you're hoping Neptune can maybe find a kill there. Slack, though, gonna call this streak in. Trying to swing it into that bricks. Gets a hit marker. Awakening, though. Obviously, if you don't find a kill, it's fine. You know where they're going to sort of put them into that position. Allows them to fly out of green. Awakening's going to find 3 kills. Now they're on the point. So Slack with his big plays in the first round, he's going to find those streaks, allows things to open up towards A. They're stacking the A site. They know one player is trying to flank through towards top catwalk, and it gets shut down. Awakening going to close up with 5, and that's 3 offensive round wins in a row.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that was a good example of kind of streaks in this game a lot of the time. Like, it's not like you're going to get 3 kills with him, but you're going to put them in positions that you know they're going to be. It also allows you to maybe get a little bit of a power position or more map control based on them having to move out of the, clear out of the streak, and that was a good example. You clear them out of certain spots, you're able to push forward. It was Slack going big to get the first offensive round win. This time it's Awakening that makes the play at the end while behind Slack's streak. And who's going off? What? Awakening, 5 in a row, 25 and 19. On the other side, it's Cammy going off for Ultra, but can a team win a defense? I don't know.
Well, really for the Mutineers, I mean, when you talk about, you obviously have Skies and Awakening who can be superstars, but if there's sort of maybe a point that they need to focus on, it is the SMG duo. It is Neptune and Slack, and if they can step up and compete with the best sub-machine gun duos that we have in this game, right? So, you've seen that so far in this respawn. It was, what, Slack that first time going on that big streak, and then just in that last round, doesn't get a ton of kills, but Neptune made a couple individual plays, won a couple individual one-on-ones, stopped the clock. He gave them all the room to work with.
Absolutely. You know what I miss the most about cast with you, Joe? You're just so good at breaking the game down. Like, it gives my body chills. It makes me feel a certain type of way.
You're the one with the award.
No, actually I have chills because it's like 6 degrees in this room. I don't know why. It's apparently we have a winter storms coming in Texas. I don't know what's happening, but I'm actually freezing. But we'll continue to focus on the round at hand. 4th round, 60 seconds to go. 2 points of progress on to B so far. Lives pretty similar. Now what can Awakening do from this spot? He was trying to get aggressive. Maybe put pressure on the spawn of Ultra, but that did not last long. Neptune there, though, to pick up the slack. And yeah, the longer you can hold this from mid, you're in a great spot defensively.
You saw Slack. He did ping his artillery, so he was just giving some call-outs. He still has it to use whenever he wants to call that in. I mean, just if things go bad at B, right, they get in position, the Toronto Ultra at A, that's when you can call it. You might see it here. So it's a 3-life advantage. You have 1 player on A right now. Is Slack going to use that streak? That's the question. Are they worried about it? Maybe not yet, but they might have to be now. With Cammy finding 2 kills, or is he going to hold on to it? Is 5-life advantage too much? So many little things that can go your way or go wrong with streak usage. You do have Neptune sort of working in the middle of the map.
It is crazy though how you said, like, for Hardpoint, how this map's a little bit different than anything, but it's like, it's the first map I can think of, and I could be wrong, but like every mode, whether it's search, control, Hardpoint, like, it's just literally all mid control. Like,
Yeah.
it's probably just because it's so narrow, right? But it's just mid. Who can lock it down and win the key fights? But what can Neptune now do from green? Well, Bance can come slide on in, hits him with the movement, hits the shots as well. They'll try to get in towards A. Black, though, gets a fortunate timing there, able to shoot Cammy in the back. His teammate Neptune shuts one down as well. They're down, though, 4 lives, and there's still 45 seconds to go. And we'll see if that's going to be the key indicator for this particular round.
And my question is just like, are you going to save that? Are you going to try and close the game out? Because it could work here. They are down 3 lives. But with 30 seconds left, this is probably the last push right here for Toronto Ultra. Do we go into a round 5 or not? Mixing methods working in the middle of the match. Slack's trying to stay alive. And now there's only 3 players remaining. Slack is alive though. So Slack has a life in Neptune. It's going to come down to them. 7 seconds remaining. Is Slack going to try and be the hero with the streak? Doesn't look like it. Definitely not going to do it now with Neptune getting taken out. So 4 offensive wins in a row.
It has been a ridiculous map 3 for control, but yeah, you were kind of talking through it, like whether just like put it down, you delay enough time that you kind of guarantee
it's
the
probably
win.
what he was asking. Should I call it? Should I do it? Should I call it? Should I do it? Should I? You know, right? You have that discussion with your teammates.
And maybe it's just one of those things where, I mean, I know if it's me, I'm just calling it, but like,
what's the life disparity?
Like, is it because it's the life thing? Exactly. Yeah. It's like you're down 4 lives. There's definitely a risk reward there for sure. And I mean, when did I first point out the lives being the big thing? I think it was like, what, 40 seconds left or so, and it obviously ends up being the difference. So into a crucial round 5, Ultra win it. They get the 3-0, their first match of the opening weekend. They get a nice start with Cammy and Bance both picking up kills. Bance looking underground. That's usually where I go hide. Nobody home, but Kleenex, we've seen some nice highlight plays from him, but Slack will get the better of him in that particular gunfight. And you've at least, for the most part, been able to stop the clock, make some progress on B if you're Toronto. In that position, it will be Cammy. Cammy gets a little bit of help on the cross as well.
You haven't, obviously, because there hasn't been like many 4-down situations, what both teams are trying to do is they're just trying to pause the clock, kind of like we're seeing, and then they're letting their sort of sub-slayers just try to get in the bricks, try to get in the defensive face, and give them a life advantage. So they're not completing the point to be, you know, they're doing it slowly, but it's basically pausing the clock, allowing them to find that advantage in the round.
Yeah. And well, think about it. It also puts pressure on Mutineers trying to get them off the point, so they're going to be flying off spawn trying to get there. And yeah, if you play it that way and get aggressive, you might be able to catch some people, get some kills, get that big life lead. But now everything kind of crumbles a bit as you go 3 down, make it 4, everybody coming off a spawn, and that's one of those big swings where you get map control if you're Mutineers, and all that progress and all that time stop, it disappears a bit. Under 30 seconds now left to go.
Right, and that was all Neptune. His teammates were getting spawn trapped, basically, but Neptune got them off a B. Neptune was basically in a 1 versus 2 a couple of times, and he gets up to a 6 spree, so he allows his teammates enough times to get out of the trap, and then he allows them to earn that mid-map control. Now that Toronto Ultra, they have to go, and that's just not going to happen. A defensive round win finally comes in. Florida gets us to a map number 4.
Mutineers, stay alive. You had big plays from Slack kind of early in it, a bunch of big sprees from Awakening to make the plays, and you talked about Neptune. Maybe it won't show in the overall scoreboard as much, but there were some moments where his position awareness couple of key gunfight wins, helped them win some wild rounds, but that was just an entertaining control. Like, there were just so many situations where you're thinking to yourself, like, oh, this round's over. Oh, they've got it in the bag, and nope, things go nuts. But you'll see Neptune now on the screen, the newcomer, the guy with, yeah, I guess you'd say a ton of pressure. Him and Awakening to prove, you know, I don't want to say like last title was a fluke, but that I think a lot of people think Modern Warfare was very different than traditional COD. Will he be okay? Well, it certainly looks that way as the man has been frying, but they needed a map, or it was a 3L. They get the map, they continue on, they get us to a hard point.
Well, they get us to Crossroads, you know, where we saw them beat FaZe 250 to 117. And they outslayed Atlanta FaZe by 20. I know that was, you know, the kickoff weekend, but you have to look at it. So it's a map 4 that they're comfortable with. But before we go to that, here's a look at the stats. And like you said, it doesn't really show. But Neptune, I mean, there was 2 rounds where he really saved the Mutineers, slacked as well, +5. You wanted to see the 74 use the sub step up. They do it in that map 3. Now they get us to a map number 4.
Yeah, and not. I mean, Neptune's got great damage. I mean, he's sitting around even. That's great. It's like more meant like it's like he was popping off, having some double positive map. But just some of those plays, some of those kills were absolutely huge. But Mutineers do what they need to. They win the map 3. They stay alive in the series. They continue on. Things continue to get more competitive. But Ultra, as you said, look very, very scary on this map. Be right back for the map 4. After this quick break.
You can, you could try, you can't stop it. OC dub, way up like a rocket. Acting up, acting that way out of pocket. For the grind, for the hustle, I can't knock it. Do what it take, do what you do, you could try. Yeah. I've been up, I've been stuck up in the sky. Yeah. Only at the top, I can't lie. Haters watch it, throw the piece, tell them bye. I got things to do, I got bands to get. Competition, up in smoke, ooh, cannabis. Ask me why I'm a top 10 candidate. I'm so fly, I'm so clean, ooh, and I'm rich. They can't stop it, they can't stop the kid. They can't stop it, they can't stop the kid. Check the scoreboard, I'm running up stats. Numbers don't lie, that's facts. They can't stop it, they can't stop the kid. They can't stop it, they can't stop the kid. Check the numbers, I'm running it up. I got penny bands, I'm thumbing it, yeah. Tell them move. Get up out the way. It's ludicrous, yeah, how much I'm getting paid. 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10K. No mob ties, but a player being made. Now how you spoke to your girl, better check her phone. And do you know what she doing when you not at home? And when she tell you she alone, but she not alone. She got a lot of options, eeny, miny, mo. She gon' do what she want, ain't no stopping it all. Pour the liquor in the cup, yeah, I'm topping it off. I might take your girl, take a trip to the mall. Put the shelf in the bag, yeah, cause I'm copping it all. I'm saying, they can't stop it, they can't stop the kids. They can't stop it, they can't stop the kids. Check the scoreboard, I'm running up stats. Numbers don't lie, that's facts. They can't stop it, they can't stop the kids. They can't stop it, they can't stop the kids. Check the numbers, I'm running.
Did you ever think to yourself, man, I want to look like a professional player. Maybe my gameplay sucks, but I want to look like one. Well, you can now. Team packs are available in the game. Look at them. They're beautiful. Each of our franchise teams in the game. Joe and I have them, and you should have them too.
Have you told the people as well, I mean, that they actually scaled the characters off of you? So that's actually even as characters.
Yeah, we mean just because my raw, just physical ability and presence, like the fact I'm built like an athlete, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, you're built like an athlete, you can run for basically forever, your slides are on point.
Perfect. I'll tell you what else, whose slides are on point. CleanX. 36 kills he drops in the map 1 hardpoint. I believe that ties aBeZy as the most kills we've seen in a hardpoint so far. Will that record get broken? Absolutely. The league just started. But impressive nonetheless so far from CleanX. The guy is making plays. And yeah, going into the break, I was an idiot. I said Ultra was really good at this. No, we were talking about Mutineers. Mutineers, when they played at the kickoff against FaZe, they beat FaZe there. And when I talked to Crowder and we were kind of going through maps and stuff, and he was teaching me a little bit and going through it, like, you know, he talked about Crossroads being a map that, like, you know, it's not maybe the best for hardpoint in the sense of it's just very, very small. The players have a lot of fun with it because, you know, it's high engagement, right? Like, it's like, it makes me think of, I don't know, like AW at times, man. It might be a nightmare to play, but it's fun. Like, you're just flying and frying and shooting it all times. But, you know, the FaZe side, you think they would like a map like that because of their talent. They want to play at that pace. And the fact that the Mutineers beat them handily there, yes, that I think is a scary fact for Ultra. But on the other side of that, Ultra haven't lost a hardpoint yet, right? They're 3-0. That has been their best mode, whether it's been Vance popping off or CleanX need to step. Somebody has stepped up and gone big. So this should be an interesting map for sure.
Yeah, I just think, you know, if you're like a really fundamental hardpoint team, you probably wouldn't want to play a team on Crossroads, right? Because what can happen on Crossroads if, I don't know, we just saw it. aBeZy had an insane individual performance. He gets some streaks. He basically won his team that map, right? And that can happen where, you know, someone has an off map, you probably get stomped. So it's just one of those things where the individual sort of gun scale, one-on-one gunfights over and over and over again, it can really shine. Where a different map, you know, a Moscow, a raid, if your rotations and your teamwork are on point, it doesn't really matter if you lose a few gunfights here and there.
Yeah, it's just, when you think about Moscow, like, I don't know, like, I saw one recently, I was watching a scrim where it was like this one-on-one for top ESCI control. And like that one-on-one literally was the difference in, like, it was like a 90-second swing because of how the difference in points for the next hard point, like, just a little bit different here. Like, you gotta win a lot of those key gunfights. There's just a lot more engagement, just a lot crazier. It's different than a lot of our maps. And I kind of like that, the sense of, I do feel like, at my core, and I think for you too, just, you know, how long you've been competing, you know, maybe your favorite title being Black Ops 2 back in the day, you know, you love the strategy element, the spawning people out, the setups and stuff, but I guess there is part of me that likes that we have like a pretty good variety and the differences in the way some of these hardpoints plays this year. It'll be cool to see how it evolves over the course of the year.
Yeah, I think if you know to sort of compare it to something, it's probably something like a slums. It's very compared to that, right? I mean, 3rd and 4th hill are on the same side of the map. You chain those together, you're getting a lot of points no matter what. But it's also one of the maps where somebody starts off hot, you can get destroyed quickly. So yeah, it reminds me a lot of that.
No, it certainly does, and it'll be we were having the same conversation when you and I were watching the previous series, kind of about that dynamic and I think that's been a conversation throughout any game, sort of, when it comes to sort of money hills. It's a little more important when you're chaining together too. But what are you going to invest to make sure you lock up that full, I don't know, 50 to 59 points? Like, what do you invest in doing that? Because if you're losing a lot to do it, and then you end up getting broken with that great setup you worked for, it's worst case scenario. So that's something we'll follow over the course of this. But I believe there was just a lobby restart for the squad. So apologize. We're trying to get as quickly as we can. And, you know, shout out, if you saw my tweets yesterday, you know, I've really been gassing our, you know, production team. I know we had a lot of hiccups at a bumpy road to kind of start off last year. I've been so impressed with so many different things this year. And one of the things that's actually really stood out to me is just how quickly we're getting game to game as well. Like, it's kind of bang, 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 bang. So just sorry for this. It was just a quick lobby restart. We're trying to get to the action as quickly as we can, as much as you might like hanging out with Joe and I at times. What are we here for? It's watching the best Call of Duty players in the damn world. And let's get into it again. Map 4, Mutineers vs. Ultra.
And I think one key thing to take away from that map number 3 was Black and Neptune, they've seemed to be or have arrived in this match, and you're going to need that slaying power with those submachine guns on a map like Crossroads. The Awakening, he is. Well, I mean, we've seen the individual sprees he's going on so far. He's going to have that XM4 to lock down sort of this bottom ice side. Be challenge a couple of one-on-ones. It's going to be Cammy who's going to win the first one. It'll be Toronto Ultra in the hill first.
Well, Skies is shooting a lot of bullets, trying to get hit markers through, but nothing is going to connect there. So, yeah, Ultra will rack up some time. Slack was there for the contest, but really just for a moment. And once we get a little bit deeper into this, yeah, I want you to kind of break down that conversation we were talking about. And I know we've had, this is one of the only map really where we've had a hard point change, I think, when you talk about number 4 and the position of it. But really just that dynamic of what resources and what are you expending to try and chain together those 2 key hard points.
But here we go, as we're about to get into that second hill. 5 seconds remaining. And Awakening, him and Skies are going to get pushed up, and they're going to those close right side of the map spawns. That's where you want for this second hill. They're going to get set up. But obviously, I mean, also we're going to be here quick. Not a giant map. They're going to get in the hill. You have 1 player top cat. You see where 7 spawns. So as soon as there's some presence here from the Toronto Ultra on the hill, they find the kills. They spawn the Mutineers out.
You get the spawn out. Now, how long can you hold here before you try to do the same thing the other way and then flip back for the next hard point? But it looks like nobody can really accrue any time right now inside of the second hard point, or no one can hold for long. Ultra are able to get back into things.
Uh-oh.
Elite, at least for now. Slack not going to be able to hit the shots.
Well, it looks like Kleenex was running in place, so...
Yeah, I saw it for a second.
We'll keep an eye on what's going on there, but we might have a bit of a restart.
I didn't say anything yet, because I didn't know if that was on our end, maybe, or no, number 4, Kleenex is not moving. Okay, so I'm assuming we're having some sort of technical issue right now. We'll see what the call is going to be. I know we're really early in this map, but yeah, usually
there's ice on this map, but listen, it's not like that. You don't just run in place over and over again. So it sounds like they're going to close the lobby, and we're going to probably restart this one.
Yeah, I was talking about, we're here to watch the best Call of Duty players in the world. And just a piece of advice. Yeah, you don't usually run in place into a wall. It's not usually how that goes down. So,
and honestly, Maven, you jinxed us. This is on you. You just talked about it. You talked about how things were going smoothly. You brought it up, and yeah, it's your fault. Yeah.
It is my fault, isn't it?
Yeah, you just had that great, you were talking everybody up, and that one's on you, kid.
I apologize. This next one is going to go great.
Hope so.
That's all I've got for that, Joe. But yeah, apologies to the viewers. We'll get back into it as quickly as we can. And we've got this match, and we've got another one coming. So if you're new to watching or not familiar with the format, we've got 2 matches Thursday, 2 Friday. We'll have 3 on Saturday and Sunday. For Joe and I know we got a good bit of tweets because we weren't involved in the kickoff, and then we didn't cast Thursday, Friday. Joe and I are usually going to be casting on Saturday and Sunday on the weekend. So this is when you'll see us hanging out together. The duo, love of my life, one of the best men that I have ever met.
Thank you, Maven. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I would put my life on the line for you.
I appreciate it. I mean, I'll probably do the same for you, mate. Yeah. Trust you.
Wait, did you just second guess that?
I was kind of going through it in my head a little bit.
I'm talking if for some reason there was a live grenade scenario, I'm jumping on that thing to save you. Are you saying you wouldn't do that on the other side?
I would definitely do that. I would definitely.
Yes, all right. That's friendship at its best, baby. But here's what the schedule looks like, presented by US Army. Our Game Fuel marquee match coming up next. That's going to be Thieves versus Subliners, and I know we have a little time to fill. We'll wait to get back in, but I kind of want to hold off talking about that because there's a lot to talk about, and we'll probably have time to do that soon. Actually, you know what? Screw it. We might as well. We've been getting into maps pretty quickly outside of that, so let's just quickly talk about Thieves Subliners a little bit. Now, I guess my question for you is maybe how impressed were you with the bounce back from Thieves? After getting smoked by OpTic, they came out. They looked strong.
Well, I think it's 2 things to sort of look at. If you looked at the OpTic versus the LA Thieves match, it can kind of tell you 2 ways. Either the LA Thieves have improved a lot, or that OpTic is just that good right now, which it could be that. And we'll see tomorrow is our last match of the weekend is going to be OpTic versus FaZe, which is always going to be a great match. Hopefully we say that. Sometimes it is.
I think I personally, I think OpTic's that good right now. I just think they're very, very good right now. And I mean, there's usually every year, and yeah, I guess it's been OpTic teams a lot of the times, but there's always like a team or so that's ahead of the pack, whether it's because a skill thing or people need to catch up from a learning standpoint. There's always a team that's there. The question is, can you stay on top? But now I kind of think, at least my opinion, I think OpTic are just that good right now. Like on paper, it's nasty. In scrims, they look nasty. They're very good.
They are, but they have a very, very tough opponent. And that's the other thing, right? It's Atlanta FaZe. What kind of form are they in? So some early tests early on this year, though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're looking to get the lobby restarted. Obviously, we saw we had the issues with CleanX, so trying to resolve whatever is going on there. We're going to get the map started as quickly as we possibly can. But for now, we're going to head to a quick break. Whoa! Oh wait, no, wait. I was told we're not going to the break yet because there's a surprise. Apparently, I asked for LASIK. I actually asked for robot eyes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, look at that! Wait, I said I wanted robot eyes to, like, I don't know, see through walls.
You kind of look like the
really
Terminator.
Good vision. No, I look like what's the X-Men? What's his name?
Cyclops.
I look like a Cyclops, dude.
Like, no, you definitely like the Terminator. Like that is the Terminator eyes, 100%.
I didn't want to kill people with lasers. I just wanted to see better.
Well, yeah.
Now that I think about Joe, so now I want to think about what superpower I'd pick if I could pick a superpower, but I don't think that we have time to do that. Match will be up as soon as we can. We'll be right back after this break.
Play Maven, it's his fault.
I'm so fly, I'm so clean, and I'm rich. They can't stop it. They can't stop the kid. They can't stop it. They can't stop the kid. Check the scoreboard, I'm running up stats. Numbers don't lie, that's facts. They can't stop it. They can't stop the kid. They can't stop it. They can't stop the kid. Check the numbers, I'm running it up. I got penny bands, I'm thumbing it. Tell them move, get up out the way. It's ludicrous, how much I'm getting paid. 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10K. No mob ties, but a player being made. Now how you spoke to your girl, better check her phone. And do you know what she doing when you not at home? And when she tell you she alone, but she not alone. She got a lot of options, eeny, miny, mo. She gon' do what she want, ain't no stopping it all. Pour the liquor in the cup, yeah, I'm topping it off. I might take your girl, take a trip to the mall. Put the shelf in the bag, yeah, cause I'm copping it all. I'm saying, they can't stop it. They can't stop the kid. They can't stop it. They can't stop the kid. Check the scoreboard, I'm running up stats. Numbers don't lie, that's facts. They can't stop it. They can't stop the kid. They can't stop it. They can't stop the kid. Check the numbers, I'm running it up. I got penny bands, I'm thumbing it, yeah. They can't stop the kid. They can't stop the kid. They can't stop it. They can't stop the kid. They can't stop the kid. They can't stop it. They can't stop it. They can't stop the kid. They can't stop it. They can't stop the kid. Check the scoreboard, I'm running up stats. Numbers don't lie, that's facts. They can't stop it. They can't stop the kid. They can't stop it. They can't stop the kid. Check the numbers, I'm running it up. I got penny bands, I'm thumbing it, yeah. Do what you can, you could try, you can't stop it. OC dub, way up like a rocket. Acting up, acting that way out of pocket. For the grind, for the hustle, I can't knock it. Do what it take, do what you do, you could try. Yeah. I've been up, I've been stuck up in the sky.
They say credit belongs to the man in the arena who spends himself in a worthy cause. The glory is reserved for the few who, no matter what, answer the call to enter the arena. It echoes out, reverberating across the globe. It only acts to reach the bold, never the timid. call delivers victory to the deserving and rewards the devoted. But when your time comes, there is only one option. Enter the arena. Fight for the call.
Let's talk about challengers while we get ready for the match to get started. It's funny, we talk about how competitive CDL Pro League is going to be with the change to 4v4. Well, that shifts on down. It's a trickle-down effect. Challengers is going to be insane this year. And there are 20 weekend cups with $130,000 in prizing, 5 open events across the regions with $500,000 in broadcasted. I mean, it's gonna be nuts, man. There's a lot of money to make, Joe, and I'm sure if coming from your career, there's that kind of money for like the amateur division. It's just got to be insane to you.
That's how much we were playing for in a good year. But there's the elite schedule as well.
You played at tournaments like $5,000 total prize pool.
But you like the elite schedule as well. What that does, that puts like top 8 teams of the challengers from each region in sort of, they have their own like mini league, and 4 stay in, 4 go into relegation. So it sort of gives that bit of a, sort of league format for challenger players and teams. And of course, our pro teams and their management are going to keep an eye on that, because we've seen the movement, the young guns coming up and down, and that will continue to happen.
Yeah. It's just over the last 2 years. I mean, since the inception of the CDL, I mean, we've seen so many names popping up that we haven't seen before. It just feels like it's almost getting to the point where it's like out with the old guard and with the new. Like so many players, whether it's a JCap, Karma, just players retiring and new young guns stepping up. It's a wild time to be involved in Call of Duty. But here we go. We're trying again to get into the map 4. 2-1 series lead for Ultra. Again, the narrative here, at least coming into it, the brief stuff we have, Ultra has been very good at hardpoint in general. Mutineers, though, on this map versus FaZe, look electric.
Well, you get a bit of a reset. What does Awakening do? He's like, you know what, I'm not going to challenge Cammy on the outside of the map. I'm just going to help my team control top catwalk. So you get the reset, you get a second chance, but that second chance is still a death for Awakening off the start. But you do get some early time if you're Florida. On Ultra, aggressive, but some missed shots there by Cleanice. You did not see that often from that submachine gun player.
They miss sometimes.
Yeah,
I can't relate though.
Well, we saw those eyes. I mean, you're literally cheating. So,
no, I can't relate to that. But not too much action in the way of the objectives so far. But whoever they can, trying to pick up what scrap they're able to.
Yeah, both teams right now.
Look for control down the hard point here.
Early control from Ultra, and Cleanice right now, what he's doing, just controlling the middle of the map. He's just trying to buy some time. Much cleaner than what we saw the first time around in this map. All right, if you heard some confusion from Maven and myself, we had somebody talking in our ear, and sometimes that just messes with us. I was like, I couldn't hear Clint, so basically as soon as you started talking about the difficulties we've had.
I couldn't hear a word you were saying. I couldn't tell if you were talking.
No
so
idea.
Just stopped. Yeah, so sorry about that, but that was just, I couldn't really hear Joe. But all right, now back to the gameplay we go. With the second up, 20 seconds remaining. Not a ton of time for either team, but now comes the crazy sequence we've been talking about when you think about 3 and 4 and how many points you can chain together and how well you can play it. So tucked away in a corner will be Bance. He's the one with the chance to play spoiler, especially if he can pick up multiple kills, but he can't. Neptune cuts one off. On Cliffside, he also rallies back to pick him out. That's the spawn out then in for Ultra. And at least for the moment, there's not a lot of long moments in this map. You've got a setup.
Yeah.
And, before I was done saying that, they broke it.
Yeah, and if you don't have those back spawns, you do see that Neptune does spawn out, so his teammates are probably going to wait for him to work across the map. It looks like Bance has a good idea that could happen. But if you don't have those spawns, this fire hill, you can still work the time, just like Toronto Ultra doing, because you can control it from inside. Control it from cat room, but there's Cammy on the left. He's going to spawn up, and that is beautifully done. So there's that early investment for Florida. They were only down about 25 points on the rotation, but this is where things could get ugly. They could get really ugly if No, they don't break this hill, but it's Awakening, it's Neptune. We're able to find 3, and now 4.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's one way to get the clearance through. You get the 4 down, you get set up inside. Rallied all the way towards the back is going to be Methods. He's not there anymore, though. Slack able to take his head clean off. New hard point pop. Toronto Ultra still in position with a pretty nice lead. I mean, you got to think about it. We're what? On our 4th hard point, you only have 36 total points earned from Mutineers. I mean, heck, a decent amount of the play clock has come off. It's not going to come down to that, but just because there's been so much contested time, so many back and forth battles, so many breaks or poor holds. But here, if Toronto can get all of this, I mean, you're not quite at a 100-point advantage, but you're getting darn close to it, and one step closer to closing this out and get a series win in weekend 1.
Yeah, and it was a nice start from Florida. Sky stayed alive for a good majority of that time, and I mean, I think it was the first 25 seconds they weren't able to eat up, so it could have been a lot worse. But yeah, you see the close spawns, how close you are. You basically, I don't know, reminds you a little bit of Modern Warfare. You just keep on flooding into that hill over and over again. Florida tried doing what they could, but can't deal with all those numbers, all those nades coming in. They are going to get taken down. So first set of rotations done on that hill. It'll be a 70-point lead for the Toronto Ultra. Just taking a look at the stats, I mean, yeah, I mean, Band's keeping it up. Kind of saw what we saw in that first weekend. Methods, everyone's just right around even. A solid game from Toronto.
What were the, hold on, I think I have it on my other screen. What were the, I can't remember the 2 hard points he popped off.
Garrison and, I don't remember the second one. I think
this Checkmate was game 4. Okay, I couldn't remember, yeah, what the second one was either, but yeah, I mean, he's had a couple just really, really good hard points under his belt. We'll see if this could possibly be another one, but Mutineers need time, and it's Camby who's able to survive the nade, get a kill, put some damage in, now push forward to contest what little time is left on the hard point before we get ready to head back this second. In position inside already will be CleanX. Spawning out opposite will be Mutineers, and you get a solid hold here. I mean, if you're going to have opening control as often as you do as Ultra, if you're going to have spawns, it just feels like it's this position where Mutineers, they'll get a break, but they eventually get a break, and it's like too late at the hard point where you're not getting that much time. Rinse and repeat.
Okay, yeah, it's exactly that. Like, the slaying just has to step up a little bit. When the slaying steps up, those rotations become a little bit easier. That's when you can chain together those hills. But, well, for now, it's got to step up because they need a break. I mean, this 35 seconds puts them at about 180 points. That would give them about a 130-point lead in this map. So even if 3 and 4 go horribly, Toronto would still probably have the lead. But the pressure is here. Neptune gonna find 2. He's up to 22 and 17. You know, you're getting a good performance out of him, but it's his counterpart in Slack too. Well, you know, he's struggling right now, 8 and 17. And you need one of those superstar ARs that we talk about to step on up and get some momentum on their side. They had to push the scrap time. What happens when you have to push the scrap time over and over again? You usually lose the rotation. That's exactly what happens here. It's gonna be Toronto Ultra in the hill.
And then my question, if Ultra close this out, is like, how good is this team at hardpoint? Because you think about it, the 2 teams they'll beat are going to be Mutineers and Røkkr. And those are both teams, I don't want to say they're necessarily 2-3-5 teams. And when I say 2-3-5 teams, like, they're just going to win, you know, a lot of searches and controls. Maybe not be the best hardpoint team, but I do feel that way, like, a little bit for both. So I don't know what to take from this. So Ultra, I mean, I think we know that they're a good hardpoint team. I just don't know how good. But start out 4-0 in the mode.
I can't complain against 2 very solid teamemates, sorry, opponents.
Yeah, it's just the question is, like, is it 2 solid opponents in that mode? I'm not sure. I guess time will tell.
Up to 194. Only 78 points on the board for the Mutineers. You have Cammy playing all the way back here. He's just trying to make sure his teammates have spawns for this hill. They don't right now. Pressure is here from Florida, but guess what? You're going off all game. Guess who has some streaks? It's going to be CleanX. That's going to be a missile on your forehead, Slack. He's going to get taken down. What? Florida, they hang on. Neptune Awakening, they find the kills. And here we go. There's always this swing opportunity in these games, and this could potentially be it.
Down 100, and they pull it off. We've seen some crazier things over the course the history of Call of Duty esports, but another streak does reign in. This one doesn't connect
that
with
makes
any
things
kills,
tougher,
but
right?
what does it allow them to do? Yeah, it certainly does. It gets Ultra back into the point. We'll get the tail into these 20 seconds. And yeah, if you're Mutineers, what? This is our 8th hard point we've had through this. I mean, you're averaging just over, basically 11 points a hard point, 10 points a hard point. Like, it's not
good.
Yes, it's not, and that's just, again, it's like they'll eventually get a break, or they'll make it scrappy for a little bit of time, but they haven't had a single sequence that's been like, it's been good objectively. They haven't.
Yeah, it just hasn't been clean at the right time because they're not winning the spawns. They're getting maybe 3 or 4 dead, and then what? Toronto spawns back up. They're able to trade their way out of it. That gives them that advantage. So, yeah, just not as clean as you would like for Florida, but you got to give props for Toronto.
Yes, so that was going to be my question. So we know that Mutineers smoke FaZe on this map, so they're not like horrible at this map. I mean, I know you can't take much from one map, but that's an impressive win. So like, what has Ultra been doing so well? Like, what has stood out to you that they have this massive lead?
Well, they've had spawns, and I mean, you had that one big play on the first rotation, right? It was the Mutineers inside the fire hill, inside that tank hill, and then from there, right? It was a lot of early investment on the rotation towards 3 and 4 from Florida, but they got broke instantly. It was just too easy from them, and I think that's where it really spiraled.
I think it's funny because I think we talked a lot about how scrappy this map can be compared to some of the other ones, but and how hard it can maybe be to slow it down and control it like you would a Moscow or something. But for Ultra, it's been pretty controlled.
Well,
as much as it can be, I guess, for this particular map, but it's getting a bit closer now. Mutineers in the point now down 70. They somehow get us to a game 5, but that's going to be 2 that drop. It's going to be on Neptune to try and make plays. He's at 34 and 25. Awakening going off as well. They'll still regain control of this side of the map. It might be a nice entry there from Methods, but will it be enough?
And it was those moments throughout the map. It was, finally had something clean out of Florida, and then Toronto comes through again, but they were able to hang on. It was Awakening who was able to stay alive, but that scrap time's big. That puts them up to 245. That's where that early 100-point lead just really comes in.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a big deal if you weren't down so big, right? Like, that'd be a great hard point if you weren't down so big. But that's going to put them, what? With just 5 points needed to close out the victory. It's CleanX trying to do CleanX-like things. A little bit of finesse inside the point, not able to do it, but it's Cammy then through on the trade. Methods nade comes through to take down the second. Into the point go Ultra. That should likely seal the deal, and there it is, Ultra. They get their first match victory here for our second year of the CDL, our opening weekend, and Ultra thus far, including kickoff weekend, are perfect in hardpoint. And it has been fun to watch, man. This team's got potential.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they got potential. They surely do. It's just, can they take that next step? Winning that search and destroy, I think, was key for them. After losing 2 early on in the year, and they keep that up. And kind of like you said, I think what we're going to be watching is when they play some of those other top teams, some of the, the better slaying teams in hardpoint, how are they going to play? But so far, so good. Everybody is stepping up, right? In that first series, it was Vance who was going big, but this one felt much more of a team effort. You had Methods in Search and Destroy. In your respawns, it was CleanX and Cammy. The pieces that they put together, they continue to improve. And here's a look at the stats.
Yeah, we'll take a look through it. Pretty balanced all around when you talk about the side of Ultra. Damage on the same park, everyone right around 30 kills. If you think of Mutineers, it sort of reminds me of the Search in a way, where like Awakening pops off and Neptune, this one pops off, but unfortunately you still get the loss.
This guy's had 1,600. Yeah. I mean, obviously, you can have some off maps, but when you're looking at Florida, who's been their one key consistent guy time in and time out? It has been Skies, but a tough respawn map for him.
Yeah, no, it certainly was. And he is a guy that I think we talked about the past couple of years being one of the more consistent main ARs in the game. Like, he has been so consistent statistically. That guy that comes out and drops like a 1.2 for you when you need it. But yeah, just a tough map there for him. But Joe, we are going to take a look now at the scuff play of the game. One of the moments that we saw over the course of that map for Hardpoint, where Ultra were able to close it out. And, there were some key moments for Ultra, obviously. Not a lot of shiny ones for Mutineers till the end, but let's take a look at this second hard point. His Kleenex is on a 5 spree at this point.
Yeah, this is just going to be one of those things. I think really good crossroads strike teams are really going to be able to get a good amount of time off the first and second hill and have the break ability at number 3, because you're basically saying there's going to be teams who overinvest into that rotation across the map, and you can punish that. You absolutely can. So they do a great job here at that second hill. Kleenex goes off again. He had so many great plays throughout it, and Toronto Ultra 1-0.
Well, Joe, it has been marvelous.
Been fun.
To join you again on the casting desk. Even if our casting desk isn't real, and even if you're not right there next to me where I can embrace you, it's been absolutely delightful. But we've got another match still to come, but we're going to get a breakdown from Lottie and Nameless before we head into the final match of the night. It's going to be Thieves going up against Subliners. We'll see you after this break.
The New York Subliners. This is basically a brand new roster for the Subliners. All things have changed, and here we go. Clay once again comes up clutch.
He is the true veteran.
Diamondcon, keeping this run going.
Asim has really been having himself a hell of a series. Mack popping up in the feed.
Shout out to Mack, that was a killer 2-piece. And a fantastic end to the round there for New York.
We're on day 3 of this incredible opening weekend, and as you can see, the scores are on the board for 2 of our matches, and we do have our Game Fuel marquee match to look forward to. It's going to be NYSL versus Los Angeles Thieves. Now, before the break, folks, we did see a very strong Toronto Ultra take down Florida Mutineers, and Nameless, man, I gotta say, I am very impressed with Ultra. I'm so impressed with their debut, and do I say it? Their hard point. It was so good. I mean, what did you really kind of pick up on from this Ultra team and what they've achieved today?
I know this might sound very bold, but watching Toronto Ultra play hardpoint, from the sample size that we have thus far, they look to be a top 2 hardpoint team in the game right now. I mean, watching their setups, their execution on getting the spawns, they're filling in the gaps when it needs to be filled. It was unbelievable. I mean, we saw in that second rotation on Garrison, when players needed to pick up green, they were rotating over perfectly. The communication was there and the listening. They look like a well-oiled machine. And I'm telling you, people have been sleeping on Toronto, man. I had them winning that series in my pick'em. I just think that they're a solid team with a lot going for them.
You know what? I'm awake now, Nameless. I promise you, I'm awake now, because yeah, that definitely was an eye-opener, especially from the Ultra side. I gotta ask you though, my dude, Nameless, Mutineers, I mean, I'm a little shocked just because of how they debuted themselves at the Kickoff Classic when we had that little taster there, and to see like things happening in S&D where Awakening is going, what, 13 for 5?
Yeah.
And they're just so sloppy. I mean, right at the end of that final round, not checking the cross, and just really small little niggles and mistakes just in their S&D, let alone the rest of the respawns What went wrong overall, do you think, for that team?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about throughout the series. They just seem disoriented on the map, right? Like, they're gonna look at this film and realize all the mistakes that they were making. There's so many times that players got caught alone, or a player was finessing and he would just jump out and die when he could have bought a couple more seconds for the squad. I think back to that control, the amount of defenses that they lost, trying to play the wide split, pick up the players on the flank. When the lives are down like that, you can just stack the point and hold and wait for the other team to come to you, right? So there's just things that they're doing wrong that you can identify quickly in film, and they have the talent to do so. But yeah, they just seem disoriented throughout the entire series.
Well, hopefully they can pick things back up and give us a bit of a better showing the next time they are on our screens. Look, there's always one winner, there's always one loser. I never like to see anybody lose. It sucks, I know. But hey, the comeback, that matters. And talking about coming back, we got New York Subliners back on our screens very shortly alongside LA Thieves. And I gotta ask you again, Nameless Man, I mean, New York Subliners, they have picked up an absolute legend that is Clayster, and he had a very unfortunate start to the season where he did get dropped on the champ team, Dallas Empire. I know that hurt, that definitely hurt for him, but he's coming back strong. Do you feel any kind of pressure on the side of Clayster? Do you think he's gonna feel that pressure on his shoulders, or is it coming from somewhere else?
Well, first off, I gotta say, Clay looks great. I mean, look at the guy. He's ready to go. He just got his champ ring, so he's feeling good. And yeah, for Clay, I think there is some pressure on him, but I think it's on the entire roster. I mean, you think about Diamondcon, he just got put onto a Pro League team with a world champion. He's definitely going to have to perform. There's a lot of pressure on him to be a slayer. And then Mack, I mean, last year he burst onto the scene and he was frying, but can he do it from title to title? So, you know, across the board, everybody has something to prove here for in their own right. So, I mean, New York has finally had the time to practice. If you look at the kickoff tournament, all that stuff happened right before it. And now they've had 2 weeks to figure out what was going wrong. And they also debuted against Empire, so there's something to be said there. So I think that going into this match, it should be a little bit different.
Nothing. I mean, he doesn't look that bothered. He just gave us a little glimpse of the ice on his fingers, 3 of them as well. I'll tell you what though, folks, we're going to head to a break right now, but when we come back, we do have our Game Fuel Victory Spotlight. I am joined by Cammy from Toronto Ultra to break down that last series. We'll see you after this. Hello everyone and welcome to the Game Fuel Victory Spotlight. Joining me, I have Cammy from Toronto Ultra. Cammy, I mean, I've got to say, man, that must feel pretty good. That series ended in a phenomenal fashion. I could pick so many different moments from that series where you guys played unbelievably well, especially against Mutineers, who in the Kickoff Classic did take down the big old FaZe boys. So pretty impressive in itself, and I feel like you guys have really stamped an incredible kind of memory on everybody right now looking at you, and the spotlight really is on your team. How is prep gone though, coming into this brand new season and your debut performance?
I'd say our prep's been pretty good. I'd definitely say we have our bad days and whatnot with practice, but I feel like we had a really good understanding of the game and stuff like that. So it just obviously that comes down to us performing on the day, and well, I mean we did it. So it was good gameplay from the boys, and we just got to keep it up.
Absolutely. Now, for fans and prospective fans alike, what really separates you and your team from maybe some of the others in the league?
I mean, our team's just a bit different. I think we've got a few different cultures and stuff like that in terms of like, obviously we've got American and Zin, we've got the people from the UK, and me and Ben, Toby from Denmark. So, you know, there's different cultures and stuff like that. I think our content's really good. So, you know, I think I'd say that's what probably separates us the most.
I know you have a professional chef on your team as well, in your roster, don't you? A professional chef, Chef Tony. He's always cooking up a storm for you guys. But Cammy, honestly, fantastic numbers from you and from your team as well today. I've got to ask you last question though. There's obviously a lot of big names, a lot of big orgs in our league right now. I mean, do you feel like a lot of people have been sleeping on Toronto Ultra?
Yeah, definitely. I was actually going to say that. Like, even scrolling Twitter and stuff the past few days, obviously seeing people's predictions. I rarely seen, apart from as a Toronto fan, you know, anyone really predicting us to win. So it's satisfying again being the underdogs going into the series and getting the win. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of stacked teams, stacked rosters. But I think we've got it. So we'll see what happens coming in the future. But I'm pretty hopeful. Yeah.
Definitely. I said to Nameless on the desk, I'm awake now, Cammy. You have my attention. This was a pretty good way to do it as well. So I hope that fans start waking up as well. Thank you so much for joining me once again, and best of luck for the rest of your season.
Thank you.
Well, there you go, guys. We're going to head to a quick break. But when we come back, the East Coast is coming for the West Coast. It's going to be LA Thieves taking on YSL.
They can't stop the kid. Shake the numbers, I'm running it up. I got plenty bands, I'm thumbing it, yeah. Do what you can, you can try, you can't stop it. Up, way up, like a rocket. Acting up, acting that way out of pocket. For the grind, for the hustle, I can't knock it. Do what it take, do what you do, you can try. Yeah. I've been up, I've been stuck up in the sky. Yeah. Only at the top, I can't lie. Haters watch it, throw the piece, tell them bye. I got things to do, I got bands to get. Competition up in smoke, ooh, cannabis. Ask me why I'm a top 10 candidate. I'm so fly, I'm so clean, ooh, and I'm rich. They can't stop it, they can't stop the kid. They can't stop it, they can't stop the kid. Check the scoreboard, I'm running up stats. Numbers don't lie, that's facts. They can't stop it, they can't stop the kid. They can't stop it, they can't stop the kid. Shake the numbers, I'm running it up. I got plenty bands, I'm thumbing it, yeah. Tell them move, get up out the way. It's ludicrous, yeah, how much I'm getting paid. 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10K. No mob ties for the player being made. Now how you spoke to your girl, better check her phone. And do you know what she doing when you not at home? And when she tell you she alone, but she not alone. She got a lot of options, eeny, miny, mo. She gon' do what she want, ain't no stopping it all. Hold the liquor in the cup, yeah, I'm topping it off. I might take your girl, take a trip to the mall. Put the shelf in the bag, yeah, cause I'm copping it all. I'm saying, they can't stop it, they can't stop the kid. They can't stop it, they can't stop the kid. Check the scoreboard, I'm running up stats.